So I finished my run tonight, and now I'm going to grab a beer and get something to eat. But there was something that was going through my mind while I was out running, and it was about how I feel about myself as a runner. And I wanted to get this out and relate it before I forgot about it and the things that I was thinking about. So what I wanted to say is I felt on this run that there were parts of this run where I was really feeling like um, close to my old self again. And so I have this really harsh image of myself when I'm starting out running. I used to be a very good runner, and many people who have run for most of their lives when you were younger, you were a much better runner than you are when you're older. And I was that way, except there was a time in my 30s when I wasn't running. I was running every year, but I wasn't running all year round. So I wouldn't run in the wintertime. I would start running the first week of March, and then I would finish when the time changed in October. And what that meant was I pretty much every year started from scratch. And when I would start in March, I felt terrible and embarrassed about myself as a runner. I felt like I was just this pokey, uncoordinated little jogger. And that was my harsh critique of myself. I'm not trying to say that there's some standard that delineates a jogger from a runner in the real world out there. There isn't. If you get out and you run and you put one foot in front of the other, you're a runner. And you should be proud of that because not a lot of people do that. And that's an important thing to think about. Yet, we all have an image of who we are as a runner and who we would like to be or who we want to be as a runner, how we want to feel when we feel like we're in shape and everything's clicking on all cylinders and we feel really good. And whether that's uh, and whether to the individual that means running a 30-minute 5K or whether it means running a 17-minute 5K. It doesn't matter. We all have those goals that make us run. And if we want to improve, we may not have a time on it, we may not have a distance on it, we may not even have any hard, clear goals. Yet we all run. I feel that we all run to feel better about ourselves, and we probably have some health and fitness is part of that, feeling better about our health and fitness. And we have something that makes us feel good as a runner. And a lot of times, who we are right now is not exactly who we want to be or how we want to feel as a runner. And so we're running to try to get there. And the process is what makes us feel good and we feel that improvement. And so what I want to emphasize is, especially when starting out or starting over or after an injury hiatus or time off, or maybe you've been thinking about getting into running and you've never run before in your life. What I want you to realize is how you feel when you start is not how it's always going to be. So what's important is that we get out there and that we put the time in. I call it logging the miles. The way we become better runners is to log the miles. Now, that doesn't mean to run too much. It doesn't mean to run too long. You get overuse injuries. Be smart about it. It's good to have a plan or have a training plan or work with a coach who can solidify your goals into a training plan and stick to the plan. So basically what I'm saying is, according to whatever that plan is, whether it's running 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 or 6 days a week, okay, whatever that plan is, stick to it. You're not going to feel good every time that you go out. Sometimes you're going to feel downright awful and you don't really want to do it. And the key to becoming that runner that you want to be is to get out there when it's on the schedule and do it and get those miles underfoot, and you'll start to feel your running will change. Even if you don't have, like, say, a running form coach or something like that, your running will change. The more miles you log, the better your cardiovascular system becomes, the stronger and your legs and your endurance become. Your stride's going to get better. The ease of your stride, the way it feels when you run, is going to get better. You're going to feel better about how you think you look running, and that's from putting those miles underfoot and just getting out there and doing it. And you will become that runner that you have in the back of your mind, that is your goal. Or you'll get there, and you'll be so excited about getting there and feeling that you set another goal, and you set another goal. It's a process. And just because starting out we feel like, we feel like we're just a pokey old little jogger or something, or we're tripping over our own feet, or we feel embarrassed when people look at us because we don't feel like we look like we should even be out there doing it. Put that stuff out of your mind, because everybody's got to start somewhere. And that's what's important, is that you start and that you keep going and you keep going. And little by little, you're going to get better. You're going to look better. You're going to feel better. Your whole mindset is going to change. And all of a sudden, you will realize that you're developing into that runner that you want to be, that runner that you dream to be, that image in your mind of what it means to you to be a runner. And that's what's important. What's important is that we're always growing, we're moving forward, and we're attaining those dreams, because life is really meaningless without that. And that doesn't have anything to do with running. Goals and working towards a goal, and worthwhile goals that mean something to you, whether they're in business, whether they're in school, whether they're in education, in learning, in science, in music, in the arts. It's working towards those goals that gives life meaning. And so whatever you do, just keep chipping away. It'll always take longer than we think or want in order to get to where we want to go and achieve those goals, but it is worthwhile. I promise you it is worthwhile, and that's what makes us feel good about how we live our lives. So go out there, put in the miles, put in the time, little by little, and attain your dreams.